Hello, today, we will discover the stories that shaped our world forever when we dive into the depths of World War II. Okay, before we can go to each individual battle, here, I'm going to give a comprehensive review about World War II so that you may have a big picture about it. World War II is one of the most important moments in human history. The rise of communism in Europe and the Pacific and the emergence of new weapons and tactics shaped the modern world. The rise of Hitler, the Nazi regime, and the Allied powers' ultimate triumph are just some of the dark chapters of our past that this video will show you. Here's the short backgroup about World War II. World War II, 1939 to 1945, was the deadliest and most widespread conflict in human history. Involving over 30 countries and resulting in an estimated 70 to 85 million deaths, it fundamentally altered the geopolitical and social structure of the modern world. This review delves into every major aspect of the war, from its origins to its aftermath, including the impact on military strategy, international relations, civilians, and the legacy left behind. The origins and causes. The roots of World War II are deeply embedded in the aftermath of World War I and the Treaty of Versailles, 1919, which imposed punitive reparations and territorial losses on Germany. The rise of fascism in Italy under Mussolini, Nazism in Germany under Hitler, and militarism in Japan created an aggressive axis of totalitarian regimes. Economic depression during the 1930s contributed to global instability and the appeal of radical ideologies. Key events leading to war include the remilitarization of the Rhineland, 1936. The Spanish Civil War, 1936 to 1939. The Anschluss with Austria, 1938. The Munich Agreement and Sudetenland Crisis, 1938. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact between Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, 1939, which included a secret protocol dividing Eastern Europe into spheres of influence. The German invasion of Poland on September 1, 1939, marking the official outbreak of the war. The Soviet invasion of eastern Poland on September 17, 1939, in accordance with the secret protocols of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, effectively dividing Poland between Germany and the USSR. This joint invasion led to the partitioning of Polish territory and marked a grim demonstration of the two totalitarian powers' cooperation before their eventual conflict. These invasions led Britain and France to declare war on Germany on September 3, 1939, beginning the global conflict. Major participants. Axis powers. Germany, Adolf Hitler. Italy, Benito Mussolini. Japan, Emperor Hirohito, PM Hideki Tojo. Allied powers. United States, Franklin D. Roosevelt, later Harry S. Truman. United Kingdom, Winston Churchill. Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin. China, Chiang Kai-shek. France, Charles de Gaulle, Free French. Numerous other nations contributed troops, resources, and support, with shifting alliances and occupations shaping the conflict's global scale. Theaters of war. European theater, characterized by large-scale battles, including Germany's blitzkrieg tactics, the Eastern Front's brutal attrition, and the eventual Allied invasion and liberation of Western Europe. Pacific theater, focused on naval warfare and island-hopping campaigns against Japan, culminating in the use of atomic bombs. North African and Mediterranean theater, included campaigns in Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, and the invasion of Italy. China-Burma-India theater, an overlooked yet critical front where China resisted Japanese invasion and Allied forces sought to supply the Chinese nationalists. Key battles and campaigns. Battle of France, 1940. Germany bypassed the Maginot Line and conquered France in 6 weeks. Battle of Britain, 1940. The first major campaign fought entirely by air forces, the RAF successfully defended the UK from the Luftwaffe. Operation Barbarossa, 1941. Germany's failed invasion of the USSR, marking a turning point. Pearl Harbor, 1941. Japan's surprise attack brought the U.S. into the war. Battle of Midway, 1942 – A decisive U.S. naval victory against Japan. Battle of Stalingrad, 1942–43 – A brutal Soviet victory that began the German retreat. D-Day, 1944 – Allied amphibious invasion of Normandy led to liberation of France. Battle of the Bulge, 1944–45 – Germany's last major offensive. Fall of Berlin, 1945 – Soviet troops captured Berlin, leading to Hitler's suicide and Germany's surrender. War at sea and in the air. Naval power was critical in the Atlantic, U-boat warfare, Pacific, carrier battles, and Mediterranean. Air power advanced rapidly, with strategic bombing campaigns devastating cities and industrial centers. Intelligence and code-breaking. The work of codebreakers, especially at Bletchley Park, UK, who broke the Enigma and Lorenz ciphers, shortened the war. Intelligence efforts such as the double-cross system and Operation Fortitude were also key. The Holocaust and war crimes. The Nazi regime orchestrated the genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others. Death camps like Auschwitz became symbols of industrialized murder. Post-war, the Nuremberg trials set precedents for prosecuting crimes against humanity. Resistance movements. Underground movements in France, Yugoslavia, Poland, and elsewhere engaged in sabotage, intelligence gathering, and uprisings. The Warsaw Uprising, 1944, and partisan warfare were key contributions to the Allied cause. Home front and civilian life. Civilians endured bombing raids, rationing, labor conscription, and propaganda. Civil defense and total war mobilization characterized society in all belligerent nations. The war caused immense displacement and suffering. Economic and industrial impact. Wartime economies were restructured for mass production of weapons and supplies. The U.S. became an arsenal of democracy, with unprecedented output. Lend-Lease aid supported allies. Destruction in Europe and Asia was immense. Role of women and minorities. Women served in auxiliary military roles and replaced men in industrial labor. African Americans, Japanese Americans, and colonial troops faced discrimination but contributed significantly. The war catalyzed future civil rights movements. The atomic bomb and Japan's surrender. The Manhattan Project developed nuclear weapons. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were bombed in August 1945. Japan surrendered on August 15, 1945, formally ending the war on September 2, 1945. Aftermath and global consequences. Formation of the United Nations. Beginning of the Cold War. Division of Germany and Europe. Decolonization of Africa and Asia. Reconstruction via the Marshall Plan. Shifting power from Europe to the US and USSR. Legacy and historical interpretations. World War II is seen as a just war against fascism, but also one that exposed human cruelty and raised moral dilemmas. It remains central to global memory and national identities, particularly in Europe, Asia, and the US. Conclusion. World War II reshaped the modern world more profoundly than any other event in the 20th century. Its lessons, on the dangers of totalitarianism, the costs of appeasement, and the power of international cooperation, continue to influence policy, education, and remembrance to this day. Thank you so much for your watching. I'll dive into each important battle in World War II from next videos. Bye-bye.